Do you like bubble wrap? Well, apparently so many people do that it has its own holiday. We've also got special days for ex-spouses, bacon, cats, and a whole one dedicated to staying away from Seattle. Yep, we sure are a weird species. I'm Mike with List 25, and these are 25 weird, fun, and trivial holidays people celebrate around the world. 25. Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day is surprisingly wholesome. The little sheet of plastic was invented by accident in 1957 when two engineers tried to make textured wallpaper and ended up with air-filled cushioning instead. It failed as decor, but flourished as packaging. The rest is history. Today, people ship antiques in it, gardeners protect seedlings with it, and anxious adults can't put it down once they start playing with it. The holiday falls on the last Monday of January, and nowadays companies use it as a marketing excuse. Schools build art projects, and radio stations host bubble popping competitions. In 2016, CNN even asked the public to submit videos of how they celebrate, and responses came from everywhere. One family bought 300 feet of wrap for a kid's slumber party and used it for sumo-style wrestling. Someone else wrapped her daughter in it just for the novelty. Even pets got involved. So, come next January, feel free to use it as an excuse to line the kitchen tiles, wrap a volunteer, or sneak into someone's shoes. You will find no judgment here. 24. Get a Different Name Day. If you've had it with your name, Get a Different Name Day lands on February 13th. So, if you spent years correcting people's spelling, explaining pronunciation, or sharing your name with half your office, this holiday gives you a clean slate for 24 hours. You could pick anything. Classic, dramatic, ridiculous, elegant, chaotic. If you wake up and want to be called Sir Beef Wellington of Ohio, no one is technically allowed to argue with you for that day. The holiday traces back to the concept that our names shape how we see ourselves, and that sometimes people feel stuck with one they never chose. Legally changing your name is possible too, but you'll obviously have to go full circle, meaning paperwork, fees, and a full sweep through banks, IDs, and work documents too. And for the last time, Michael is Michael, speaking of spell, one of the most popular names in the world, and no one can spell it. Anytime I go to Starbucks or anything, they just AEL. Okay? I'm not kidding. We have Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and people still get it wrong. I'm baffled. 23. Repeat Day. On June 3rd, you do things twice. Not nearly twice, not sort of twice. Twice. People who celebrate the event like to turn the day into a loop of meals, routines, and favorite activities. Enjoyed your breakfast? Repeat it again for dinner. Taking a long walk? Do the same route again. Some movie lovers go straight for time loop cinema. Think Back to the Future or Groundhog Day. The day is meant to be fun, not a chore. So if something you love is worth doing once, try doing it again. And if you decide to celebrate, maybe celebrate twice. 22. National Ex-Spouse Day. If you can text your ex without breaking into hives, consider yourself lucky. Only a fraction of people stay friends with their exes. And since half of first marriages usually end in divorce, holding on to resentment is a pointless exercise. Ex-Spouse Day, happening every April 14th, was created in 1987 by Reverend Ronald Coleman of Kansas City, who wanted a day that allowed divorced people to drop the bitterness instead of dragging it into the next decade. He even handed out buttons that read, "I'm okay, your history," to be a gentle push toward humor and maybe a little bit of personal freedom. The day encourages forgiveness and the simple act of letting go of whatever you've been carrying around. Some people also celebrate this day by donating old gifts, boxing up memories, or appreciating the kids that came from the relationship, even if the relationship itself is over. You don't need to love or even like your ex to wish them well. You just need to stop carrying them like luggage. 21. Leave the office early day. It's amazing how fast a professional turns into a kid on the last day of school when early dismissal is on the table. Laura Stack, a productivity strategist, set the June 2nd holiday up in 2004 to remind employers that long hours don't necessarily equate to good work. She argued that exhaustion makes workers slower, not better, and that efficiency improves when people know there's a reward waiting at the end of the day. Celebrating the day doesn't require a miracle or a sympathetic manager. You can plan ahead, clear your tasks earlier than usual, and earn the door a little sooner. Some offices even use it as a morale booster, giving teams an early cutoff if projects are completed on schedule. It's a small gesture with a big return. 20. No rhyme nor reason day. Some words just don't rhyme. You can try all day, but orange won't match anything. Same with purple, chimney, silver, and spirit. National No Rhymes No Reason Day, celebrated every September 1st, exists purely to honor these linguistic rebels, and frankly to let randomness have a turn at the wheel. The phrase itself traces back to the 1460s, long before Shakespeare picked it up and stitched it into the Comedy of Errors, and later As You Like It. The entire holiday is an invitation to stop forcing life into patterns that don't fit. People celebrate it in different ways. Some build long lists of words that refuse to rhyme. Others write poems with no structure at all and call it art. You could also spend the day doing things just because. Not everything needs structure. Sometimes nonsense is exactly the point. Says the guy who is on list 25 where our entire channel is structure. 19. Bison-Ten-Yell Day. Not every holiday needs meaning. Some purely exist because someone liked a pun, said it out loud, and never backed down. The whole September 2nd holiday is just a play on the word Bison-Ten-Yell, which is why people celebrate the 200th anniversary of any completely fictional character they choose. That means you can throw a Bison-Ten-Yell party for Captain America, SpongeBob, Dumbledore, just about anyone. People have even hosted costume nights and written fake history timelines because why not lean into it? And since bison is in the name, you could even take a minute to learn a few real facts too, like how a bison can run just as fast as a horse. I kid you not, they can hit about 40 miles an hour. 18. National Nothing Day. National Nothing Day is exactly what it sounds like. Every year on January 16th, you're allowed to do absolutely nothing and feel zero guilt about it. It began in 1972 thanks to Harold Pullman Coffin, who thought we deserved one day a year with nothing scheduled at all. A year later, his non-holiday was listed in Chase's calendar of events, and people have been half celebrating it ever since. There isn't much instruction. You don't read poems, eat themed food, or wear colors. You just stop, sit, breathe, and stare at a wall if that's your speed. On top of that, you could even slip the word nothing into everyday conversations for fun, saying things like, nothing going on, or nothing to add, or I got nothing. The only rule is that there are no rules. 17. Eat Your Vegetables Day. Most people don't hit their vegetable quota. Even though the USDA tells us to have 3 to 5 servings a day, a lot of adults barely manage to have one, unless French fries count. And sadly, they don't. That's why June 17th exists, right in the middle of National Fresh Fruit and Vegetables Month. So it's basically a reminder to eat something green that didn't come out of a deep fryer. Think carrots, spinach, broccoli, and even sweet potatoes if you need training wheels. You don't have to suddenly turn into a salad influencer either. Just swap your fries for a side salad, blend a smoothie instead of grabbing a muffin, or crunch on carrots instead of a candy bar. Even veggie chips count as effort. 16. That being said, life is all about balance. If you work greens into your day, you deserve a treat, but also be sure to mark your calendar for some of the unhealthier holidays like National Donut Day, usually on the first Friday of June, National Onion Rings Day, June 22nd, or National Chocolate Pudding Day, June 26th. One holiday keeps you healthy, while all the others will probably keep you sane. 15. National Bubble Bath Day. Every now and then, a holiday shows up with nothing but relaxation on the agenda. The origins of this one are disputed, but most people trace the day either to the bubble bath boom of the 60s or to the renewed craze that hit in the late 90s. Long before that, though, the world had soap flakes. Mr. Bubble just showed up a bit later and made it official. The January 8th holiday usually ends with adults doing all the bubble-related things we secretly love. Scented bubbles, slow music, a book in one hand, a glass in the other, and not a single responsibility in sight. You could even convert a bubble bath skeptic friend with a good bath kit, because generosity counts as bathing by proxy. 14. National Cat Herders Day. Some people run companies. Some raise toddlers. Some lead group projects where 3 people answer emails and 12 pretend to be dead. Cat Herders Day is for all of those people. The name comes from the phrase herding cats, meaning near impossible work. It entered pop culture somewhere in the 80s and later got boosted by a Super Bowl ad that literally showed cowboys chasing cats across a desert. If you've ever tried to organize people who refuse to be organized, you're already qualified for this holiday. The celebration is more about recognition than rodeo. You can share a meme for the overworked, buy coffee for the multitasker in your life, or take 5 minutes to mentally high-five yourself if you've been staying sane even when you didn't want to. Everything works because someone made it work. December 15th is a small nod to the ones doing the heavy lifting. 13. National Cook for Your Pets Day. This holiday basically asks one question, and that's, if you eat real food, why shouldn't they? A home-cooked meal can actually be healthier, fresher, and far less mysterious. Dogs, cats, even lizards and mice can get a homemade dish. Just check what's safe first. Some foods are dangerous for animals, including chocolate, onions, avocados, garlic, salt, yeast dough, tomato leaves, and a few dairy-heavy treats. But once you know what's safe, you can get creative. Every November 1st, you'll see people cooking salmon for cats and quinoa for dogs like it's MasterChef Pet Edition. Ultimately, that homemade dinner might only last 9 seconds before it disappears, but hey, enthusiasm counts. 12. International Dentists Day. There are holidays for bacon, pets, donuts, and bubble baths, so yes, dentists get a day too. March 6th is the annual salute to the people who look inside our mouths and don't run away. The first known dentist, Hestie, worked in Egypt around 2600 BCE, and for years, barbers handled tooth pulling while they weren't cutting hair. It was actually completely normal to get a haircut and lose a molar in the same chair. Modern dentistry, however, is a different world, with fillings, x-rays, braces, and jaw surgery. The simplest way to observe the day is to book a checkup if you've been putting it off, or send your dentist a gift. But maybe skip the cupcakes, since we all know how that story ends. 11. International Bacon Day. Yeah, I know, the dentist one was a tough sell, but bacon? Bacon is universal. International Bacon Day falls on the first Saturday of September, and most people celebrate it the obvious way. They eat bacon. Some go full mad scientist with bacon cookies or chocolate dipped strips, while others stick to breakfast and call it a day. Nonetheless, both approaches are valid, so you can celebrate it however you like. But you get extra points if something pops, sizzles, or drips on the stove. 10. Rouketopolemos, Greece. Easter night in the town of Vrontados, Greece is not quiet, calm, or reflective. It's loud enough to shake your ancestors. Here, every April 11th, 2 rival churches, St. Mark and Thanagia Erethiani, have spent generations firing homemade rockets across town at each other, aiming for the opposing church's bell tower. First bell hit wins. The downside is obvious. Houses get covered in metal sheets for protection, roofs catch fire, and in bad years, people get hurt. In 2016, the event was even canceled over safety concerns, though locals shrugged it off as a tradition worth keeping. Counting hits isn't scientific, so both churches claim victory anyway. 9. World UFO Day. Nobody can agree if aliens ever visited Earth, and even if some people believe they did, the exact date they might have first dropped in is a bit of a touchy subject. So, we celebrate World UFO Day twice. The first holiday falls on June 24th, marking aviator Kenneth Arnold's 1947 sighting, the one that kicked off the flying saucer craze and turned something weird in the sky into a national conversation. The second one, July 2nd, falls on the same day as the infamous Roswell crash, the event that birthed every government cover-up theory that came afterward. The merrymaking ranges from curious to full-on tinfoil hat commitment. There are people who fire up documentaries, others who drive out to dark fields with binoculars and far too much confidence. Roswell is filled with believers and skeptics alike. Souvenir shops do just fine, and every year someone points at a flashing airplane and says, "That's definitely not a plane." 8. I Forgot Day. Some holidays exist to celebrate achievement, romance, or grand moments. This July 2nd one exists because we forgot all of that. I Forgot Day lets everyone admit the truth without shame. Missed an anniversary? Forgot the trash? Didn't reply to that message from February? Great, you're qualified. The creator, Gay Anderson, doesn't even remember when she made the holiday, which might be the most poetic detail on the entire calendar. There are only 2 real ways to celebrate. Option 1 is to make amends, apologize, send flowers, or cook dinner for someone you've unintentionally neglected. And option 2 is to simply shrug, laugh, and accept that memory is optional. At the very least, set a reminder for next year, because forgetting I Forgot Day is practically a rite of passage. 7. National Sneak Some Zucchini Onto Your Neighbor's Porch Day. Anyone who has ever planted the green veg knows that it multiplies like it has something to prove, which is why an entire holiday exists to help people get rid of the stuff. National Sneak Some Zucchini on Your Neighbor's Porch Day lands on August 8th, right when the harvest hits maximum chaos, and gardeners start wondering what possessed them to plant 5 seedlings instead of 1. The celebration is as simple as it sounds. You quietly leave zucchini on porches, stoops, mailrooms, office kitchens, or anywhere a surprise squash might brighten someone's day. Some people package them with recipes. Others drop off whole bags like vegetable bandits. A few towns have even turned it into a friendly competition involving zucchini bread bake-offs or largest squash awards. It's one of the few holidays where generosity and mischief share the same space. All in all, there are worse things to find on your porch than free ingredients and a nudge to make fritters. Zucchini. I like zucchini. 6. International Pillow Fight Day. One Saturday a year, grown men in business suits and kids with superhero pillowcases fight in the streets for bragging rights. This is International Pillow Fight Day, and it happens worldwide every first Saturday of April. The first flash mob version kicked off in 2008 and exploded across more than 25 cities, which effectively makes it the world's largest coordinated pillow attack. The day runs on simple etiquette. Soft pillows only, glasses off, and do not smack someone who is clearly there as a photographer. Some cities even collect pillows afterward to donate to shelters and homeless programs, which might be the most heartwarming after-battle cleanup you'll ever see. 5. Stay away from Seattle Day. Seattle is gorgeous, but Seattleites would love 24 hours without everyone else agreeing with them. That is the spirit of Stay Away from Seattle Day on September 16th, a tongue-in-cheek holiday asking tourists and future residents to give the city a break for once. With Amazon, Microsoft, and Nordstrom drawing newcomers constantly, and the waterfront packed all year, locals joke that the best way to love Seattle is to let it breathe. Thomas Roy, the same guy who helped create several oddball holidays, introduced the idea as a kindness to the city. Residents spend the day enjoying parks without crowds, skipping hour-long brunch lines, or walking through Pike Place Market without elbows. Everyone else gets to celebrate by not going there at all, which might just be the easiest holiday assignment on the calendar. I celebrate that every day. I've never been to Seattle. 4. Star Wars Day. Some placements are just meant to be. Star Wars Day lands at number 4 because the 4th wanted this spot, and I'm not about to fight destiny with a plastic lightsaber. Every May 4th, the world leans into a galaxy far, far away with watch parties, Jedi robes, and adults arguing for hours about the correct ranking of every film. Fans go all in, and I mean all in. Some marathon all 9 films. Others dress as stormtroopers and march through malls, and a brave few try Yoda speech for the entire day. Stores run merchandise sales, trivia nights fill bars, and one Canadian couple even held a full Star Wars wedding where the groom walked into the Imperial March, which, tells you everything you need to know about his level of commitment. 3. National Lost Sock Memorial Day. Laundry has mysteries scientists still can't explain, and missing socks remain at the top of that list. National Lost Sock Memorial Day gives everyone a chance to accept reality and let go of the single socks they've been clinging to in denial. The holiday started online, but it stuck because there isn't a household on Earth that hasn't sacrificed at least one sock to the laundry dimension. Some parents turn it into a craft day for kids, transforming lonely socks into puppets or dusters. Others treat it as an excuse to finally buy a new pack without guilt. The whole point is closure. We've all waited for that one matching sock to magically return, but at some stage, you have to admit defeat. May 9th is the day you honor the fallen. Clean out the drawer and start fresh with the confidence of someone who knows better. 2. National High Five Day. National High Five Day happens every third Thursday of April, and the instructions are right there in the name. It began in 2002 when a group of University of Virginia students decided to hand out high fives on campus to raise money for charity. People loved it, the idea spread. For long, the whole thing turned into an annual excuse to boost morale in the simplest way possible. Today, companies use it to lighten the mood at work, sports teams pass them out like candy, and teachers use it as a built-in encouragement day for students. For one day, you can walk around handing out tiny bursts of positivity without feeling weird about it. And in a world where most celebrations involve food, costumes, or budgets, this one only requires an open hand and good timing. 1. National Ferris Wheel Day. Let's end today's list on a high note. What do you say? See what I did there? The holiday falls on the same day as Valentine's Day and celebrates George Washington Gale Ferris Jr., the engineer who sketched the very first wheel on a napkin in a Chicago restaurant while planning the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition. The idea sounded ridiculous at the time, but he backed it with his own money until investors followed. The result towered 264 feet over the fairgrounds. It carried thousands of people, earned a fortune, and proved that big, bold ideas actually can work. The original wheel is long gone, but its descendants line everywhere, from London to Niagara Falls to the one in Dubai that stands over 800 feet tall. If you're lucky enough to live close to one, your next February 14th is sorted. Get in line and go big. It's a fact that big wheels and even bigger views have a habit of fixing more things than we give them credit for. We're actually just got approved to build one here in Tampa. So, when it's open, come on down to Tampa and see our awesome new Ferris wheel. And that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. This one was actually a lot of fun. If you haven't clicked on those like and subscribe buttons yet with that notification bell, I hope I've convinced you to do so. And if you're still in the mood for more, our related video, 25 Strangest Holidays That People Actually Celebrate, goes bigger, louder, and a whole lot messier. The tomato one alone is worth the click. That link is going to pop up right around here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again next time, but real quick, let me know in the comments, which is your favorite holiday? Do you celebrate any of these? Or just which ones do you celebrate? Let me know. All right, guys. See you later.